Hey, what's going on, guys? It's me, Kova, and welcome back to another edition of Transfer Gossip. We're kicking this off big, so make sure you drop a like and obviously subscribe if you are new around here. So kicking off huge, like I just mentioned, with Salah. Now, obviously, he used to play for Chelsea, kind of like Chelsea reject, but he's done well in Serie A, reinvented himself, and Liverpool are, really hot on his tail at the moment. Apparently, they have agreed personal terms with Salah himself. However, a deal in terms of, the fee between Roma and Liverpool has not yet been agreed. Now, apparently, what I'm reading is that Liverpool have bid £27 million, and that has kind of been knocked back with Roma holding out for £35 million. Now, obviously, when you've agreed, the personal terms of the player, you're in negotiations with the club, it kind of says like it's going to be a done deal. However, this deal has since stalled, and Liverpool have then moved on to another option, which we will get into later on in the video. So we're moving on to Semedo next up anyway, and getting links with Manchester City, I think he pretty much will leave Benfica. They have a great season, won the league title, and I'm pretty sure he will leave. And Barcelona are in advanced talks with Benfica for the Manchester City target. There's no denying that Barcelona do need a right back to replace the hole that Dani Alves left in last season. And it looks like Semedo may be the guy for it. 3? He's got a lot, to go in his career. So there could be a long-term future for him at Barcelona. Next up is Lindelof. Now, obviously, he had a decent season at Benfica. I mentioned before, they won the title. He's done really, really well. And again, he's getting linked with Manchester United. They kind of got linked with Man U in January, but it didn't quite come off. And again, they will announce the £30 million signing of the Benfica centre-back next week, apparently. That is a bit of insider info that I read. I don't know if it'll come through or not, but that is a little sneaky one that, if it does happen, you hear it here first. Next up is Fabian Delph. Newcastle, Burnley and West Brom all want Delph. So there's 3 clubs in the Premiership there that all want to get Fabian Delph. Give him first team football, basically. I don't think he's going to play for Guardiola much, if anything at all. At the end of the day, they did only sign him to kind of fill their quota of English players. So if I was him, I'd definitely try and seek a move away. I think it'd be good for him, good for his career, probably good for the clubs that, he signs for, because he is a decent player. He's just never going to get game time at Manchester City. Next up is Jamie Vardy. He's getting linked with a move away from Leicester City. Obviously, Mahrez came out and said he wants to leave. That was the last video. It looks like Vardy may be on the move. Everton may make that move for Vardy if and when Lukaku actually leaves. So Vardy could be the replacement for Everton. Next up is Obiang. Again, getting linked to the moves to Everton. They are interested in Obiang. They've seen enough of him in the Premiership to, warrant a transfer from West Ham. They are interested in trying to get him in to kind of partner the likes of Davies and Gueye at centre mid. Next up is Keita. He is the Lazio winger / striker. He's played in a few positions for them this season. Been doing really well in Serie A. Actually, had a really good season for Lazio. And he will reject a move to Liverpool. Again, he's another option to Salah. Not the one we mentioned before. That is still to come. But he's set to reject the move to Liverpool if it did ever appear. And to sign for Juventus. So Juventus are going to go in for Keita, Balde, and hopefully get him from Lazio. Next up is Arda Turan. He's just recently retired from Turkey. And again, it's a case of a move to Premiership maybe happening. He has agreed a move to Arsenal, but they are yet to agree a fee with Barcelona. So similar to the Salah move, they've agreed personal terms with Turan apparently. He apparently wants to make the move, but Arsenal needs to make sure that they agree a fee with Barcelona, and obviously then they can sign him. Lacazette is next up. Obviously, he had that agreed move to Atletico Madrid, but they have not yet had their ban on transfers overturned yet. So obviously, it is agreed. It is in the pipeline. It is going to probably happen. However, Liverpool and Manchester United, as well as Arsenal, all want to meet his representatives and try and force a deal through anyway. However, Lacazette has said, he's quite happy just to stay at Lyon until January, where he hopes. In fact, pretty sure Atletico Madrid's transfer ban ends in January. Next up, Janssen. Now, obviously, he's had an absolute nightmare for Tottenham. Not been doing well at all. Can't score. Very, very similar to the Soldado issue, except Janssen's still got his career ahead of him. Soldado was 29 when he came to Spurs. Janssen, he's keeping his options open in the transfer window. He wants regular first team football. He's obviously not going to get that behind Harry Kane, especially with the form that he kind of possesses when he's playing for Tottenham. So it could be a case of him making a move, being the star man in a lesser team as such. Next up is a Watford move. I like to kind of like, keep it quite balanced to get some lower end Premiership teams in who they might sign. And Mooney, the Montpellier striker, is, apparently interesting. Watford, they're going to make a move for the Montpellier forward and try and get him in as one of their options. Obviously, they lost Igalo, lacking a bit of firepower with only Dini up front, so Mooney might come in to partner him. Christian Eriksen's next up. Not really a transfer rumour. However, he was apparently quoted in saying it would be hard to turn down a Barcelona move. Now, I don't think Barcelona are going to go in for Christian Eriksen. I can't see it. He is their type of player. Very technical, very, very good on the ball. But I just can't see Barcelona going in for Christian Eriksen. It was just more of a funny one for me, how he got quoted saying that. Next up is Lukaku. Mentioned him a little bit before in the Vardy deal, potentially for Everton. And Bayern Munich have entered the race for the Belgian striker. Looks like Bayern Munich and Chelsea will pretty much head face-to-face in the battle to try and sign Lukaku, although I think Manchester United may also be monitoring his situation. Next up is Virgil van Dijk. Such a mad one. This is literally just happened today. Apparently, the player, Van Dijk himself, was interested in a move to Liverpool. He, out of the clubs that were going for him, he chose Liverpool as his choice, which was over Manchester City and Chelsea. Now, the spin on this is that Southampton then reported or said they were going to report Liverpool to the transfer committee or the Premier League, what have you, and over the potential tapping up of Van Dijk as such. Now, ever since then, Liverpool have made a statement saying they were sorry for any confusion over Van Dijk, as whether they tapped them up or not, and they are now withdrawing any interest. That kind of says the clubs have had a talk. It also kind of says that Liverpool may actually have tapped them up. They may have actually got in Van Dijk's head or contacted them in some way, shape or form. But ever since then, the clubs have had a talk. And Southampton basically said, from my point of view, Southampton basically said, yes, we will kind of withdraw the intention of reporting you if you stay clear of Van Dijk. That might not just be Van Dijk. That might be all Southampton players for Liverpool. Obviously, it has kind of been their feeder club, Southampton. They've been constantly signing players from there. That may see a stop to that with that kind of agreement as such. Next up is Ryan Bertrand. 3 clubs interested in the Southampton left back. Liverpool, as mentioned, actually, funnily enough, I can't see them going for him now. But also Chelsea and Manchester City. Now, Chelsea have got Marcos Alonso, had a really great season. Not sure about that, but I can see Manchester City going in for Ryan Bertrand. He could be a really good option for them at left back. Next up, James Rodriguez. Liverpool are aiming to meet the £52 million release clause. Now, I see this rumour every, transfer window. Liverpool or Manchester United always seem to be the 2 clubs that get rumoured to meet a release clause on James Rodriguez. I can't see it happening. I'm pretty sure it won't at that. Next up is, in fact, the potential replacement for Salah. So this guy is Gelson Martins, whatever you want to call him. It's quite difficult. I don't know the pronunciation of it. Martins, I'm guessing. He is a Sporting Lisbon winger. 1995, so he's 22, I think he is now. And he is apparently the alternative to Salah. They've turned their attention to this guy after the Salah bid kind of stalled, the Salah deal, and they have kind of indicated that this guy offers better value for money. He's roughly, I think he's valued at 40 million, but Sporting Lisbon may accept slightly less. He's younger than Salah, so there's that he could play for longer, and potentially he could learn while he's on his way there. Now, obviously Salah's had a bit of time in the Premiership. That would probably be his only plus point on this guy, but I haven't seen too much of Martins to understand whether or not that's a good deal. I know Salah had a really good season last season in Serie A. Seen him a few times. And finally, we end on Morata. Manchester United are going to bid or have bid for Morata, and they are confident of making him, one of their players. So lots of big rumours, guys. Lacazette, where is his future going to lie? That is a huge one for me. Semedo looks like he is on his way to Barcelona. And finally, that deal for Salah, where it could be Semedo instead, is huge for me. So guys, if you did enjoy it, make sure you do drop a like, and I shall see you in the next one.